Hey, everybody. Welcome back to the official Big Bang Theory podcast. I am your host, Jessica Radloff, and joining us in studio today are two very special guests. First, the Emmy-nominated executive producer and writer, Maria Ferrari. And also, for the first time in studio, we are so thrilled to have her. She is the host of Mayim Bialik's Breakdown, wherever you get your podcasts. The Emmy-nominated extraordinary talent that is Mayim Bialik. We are so happy to have you both with us today.
Hi.
Welcome.
Thank you.
This is old hat for Maria now, but we are so thrilled to have you. Maria has moved in now, so we'll give you a key after this. You can join us anytime.
Thank you. It's great to be here.
I'm so happy to have you here, and just we get to talk about your first episode today and everything. Which is, when's the last time you saw your first episode or any clip? I should have you watched anything?
Yeah, it's been a minute. I wasn't really an active watcher,
right,
because we kind of lived it all week. And it was the same like when I was on Blossom. Like I didn't feel a desire to sort of watch it. And I really don't like watching myself or hearing my voice. So sometimes I'll see clips here and there, but I've also I don't spend a ton of time on social media, which is I think where things, but sometimes people will send me things, but like a solid episode, at least a decade. I don't,
This is going to be so fun today going down. I'm so excited going down memory lane. Maya made her first appearance, of course, in the season 3 finale called The Lunar Excitation, which was also Brian Thomas Smith's first episode, is Penny's ex-boyfriend, Zach. He told me that you guys would have lunch that first episode that you were together. Do you remember that at all? No.
This is going to be a lot of me being like, I didn't remember that.
It's a good thing we get to play clips.
Brian hasn't been in menopause. He doesn't know what it's like to lose part of your brain. Okay, so tell me, we had lunch.
So you had lunch.
Then we had sex.
Yeah.
No.
That's the headline. It's going to be news to Brian's wife. It's fantastic.
Kidding.
I love it. But he very much enjoyed the lunch.
Oh, good.
He's going to talk about it, all about your lunch on the episode and whatever happened next.
Maybe I gave him life-changing advice that changed the course of his entire career.
You became his favorite after that.
Oh, that's nice.
Yes. I might have just made that up. But I would think so. I mean, you're so fun. So
yeah, I don't remember a ton about that episode.
Yeah.
I really just kind of dropped in. I had I had I think one line. So yeah. It was a very brief appearance that I really had no idea where it was going to go.
But it changed everything for the better, and we are so glad. So before because we're going to watch a clip of this first appearance, which is amazing. I know, I'm sorry I induced you, but you're fabulous. So there's that. Maria, what do you remember about being in the writer's room when the character of Amy Fowler was kind of conceived and introducing Sheldon to a potential dating match, which was so far out there because Sheldon would not date anybody. But what do you remember about that moment when it first came up?
Well, I think that there was a lot of discussion as to what a very good dating algorithm would turn up for Sheldon. And I think sort of in her initial conception, she was kind of like the chipmunks had their corresponding girlfriends and they all had effectively the same personalities. So I think that's kind of what we were going for. I hope we hit that bar. But yeah, she was very, very much written in Sheldon's grammar. I remember you had the joke about tepid water.
Tepid water, please.
Was actually an improv that Kate McCucci did.
Wow.
Really?
So that was
Kate McCucci did audition for the role of Amy.
Yeah, so that was her joke, and they sent her muffins or something, and she said they could use it.
I feel like I should have known that. I would have sent her muffins.
Wow. That is so fascinating.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness. So when you were I know Steve Milaro was very passionate about, obviously you guys did not know in the end of season 3 that what the character of Amy would become. But I know it was very personal to Steve Milaro because he wanted, Steve Milaro, the executive producer and showrunner, and he really wanted to show that kind of there is somebody for everybody, even though we didn't know that Sheldon and Amy would become romantic, but just to have somebody else, a friend. I know that was personal, but did it also excite you, the possibility of another female scientist, just discovering those different layers?
100%. 100%. I was thrilled by this character. And, Tara, I think, joined in season 4.
Yeah.
We had a lot of fun with her because she was a place that we could pitch personal stories that, we hadn't had access to that going directly into the scripts in the same way before. So we had a lot of fun with that.
Mayim, I know you've told me in the past that you are not a comfortable auditioner.
No.
How did you feel after you auditioned for Amy?
Well, I mean, I think when I auditioned for that, the final audition that I went to, it was a group of us. It was like a very old school audition where you're all told to hang out in one room, and they called us in one by one, and then we were told to wait because sometimes they would call somebody back in. I mean, it was very kind of like an old school audition, and we're all kind of sitting there. And, whenever people ask me oh, did they know you were a scientist? And that's why they, and I say, no, I sat in a room with a bunch of really talented actresses, none of whom were neuroscientists. That wasn't what the call was. I had never seen The Big Bang Theory. Yeah. And I had, a nursing infant and a toddler. I had been out of the industry for 12 years. I had done an episode of Bones, an episode of I don't know, some legal show that I can't remember the name of right now. So I had done a couple things, but I wasn't oh, we're back in the zone, I'm going to be on a TV show. This was I have 2 children. I've been out of the industry. I don't have health insurance. I just would love to have, a guest spot just to try and keep up my SAG insurance. That's the God's honest truth. Yeah. So, I knew, and also I sort of knew who Chuck Lorre was, but I just wasn't part of TV watching culture of knowing his trajectory. And so, I auditioned the way I auditioned for everything else, which is do your best, feel like a piece of shit, know that you probably won't get it. That's what happens. And after the audition, my kids had a scouting thing in the woods, and I literally went to meet them in Griffith Park, right after my audition. And I remember I was wearing a friend of mine had taken me to shop because I had no normal person clothes. I had college grad student clothes. I didn't even know what size I was. I was in a Banana Republic pencil skirt because those were in, and a sweater set. Remember when those were popular? I think it was a pink sweater set. So I flipped that off and put on a hoodie and threw on sneakers, and I was just in Griffith Park with my kids after the audition.
I remember you telling me this, and I thought this was hilarious because Jim Parsons had the same reaction when he went in for The Big Bang Theory. He mixed up Chuck Lorre with Chuck Woolery and thought it was a game show. And then didn't you think that this was also
I had
a game
heard,
show?
So someone had told me a couple years before, you were mentioned on The Big Bang Theory. So I thought it must have been like a quiz show or something. And they mentioned that Mayim Bialik was a neuroscientist. I thought it must have been a game show. And I hadn't heard of anything else since then.
Right. I just love that the two of all people, who became one of the most iconic couples on TV. It was you and Jim who thought this was a game show version of The Big Bang Theory.
Yes. In the simulation that we're all in, it is a game show.
Exactly. And you wore glasses to the audition? Or did you?
I'm trying to think. That's a great question. I think I did. I was a glasses wearer, so I still am. I'm pretty sure that I wore them. I knew enough about, they had told me they wanted a female version of Sheldon Cooper, and I didn't know who that was, so I Googled it. And, I think that there's enough in the cultural kind of stereotyping, especially of female nerds, that glasses felt, it wouldn't be an impediment, let's say.
Yeah. Maria, were you a fan of Blossom?
I was a fan of Blossom.
Yeah. Why are you laughing?
Because it's funny to think of that. Maria was my boss. I don't think of her as knowing who I was before.
I was very scandalized by the big tampon box joke. I found that quite spicy.
That was our first episode.
I can't believe this. I couldn't believe it. Couldn't.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Well, it was so funny. I love telling this story is that when I first moved to Los Angeles, Mayim knows this, my best friend and I were attending High Holy Day services for the Jewish holidays at UCLA. And this is my first time not being in St. Louis for, the Jewish holidays. And all of a sudden, who comes out is Mayim as the cantor at UCLA. And I turned to my best friend and I'm like, oh my God. Blossom is our cantor. Is this what Hollywood is like?
That's exactly
they have
right.
famous people like play the roles of the rabbis and the cantor. And I knew you actually were like, you could do this, but it was so, I will never forget
That's
that
funny.
when you came out and I'm like, whoa, I did not. And then one time I saw my actual rabbi on Grey's Anatomy as a rabbi.
Oh, wow.
Thinking, okay, this is very different from St. Louis. This does not happen often. But that was my first introduction to Mayim out here, was as my cantor.
Yep. I walk among you.
Yeah. Cantor Bialik. I love it so much. Okay. Before we watch your clip, did you base Amy on anybody in particular?
So, obviously the audition said that they were looking for a female, Sheldon Cooper. So obviously I based it, I didn't know who Jim Parsons was.
Right.
I found him very talented, from what I had seen when I looked him up. I mainly based her on him. Like, what would a female version of this be like? As someone who had, recently completed like a science doctorate, I was surrounded by all sorts of really, fascinating and incredible women in science, of which there are many varieties. Yeah. But I did choose, she was one of my dissertation advisors and one of the person who got me through my doctorate. And I've never said her name because I think I should respect that about her. But yes, there was definitely a vibe that I kind of had, I guess, as sort of a background, like some background noise. And then, obviously adding whatever Jim, kind of brought to this character.
Does your professor know now? Did you ever tell her?
No, I've never told her. Yeah. I've let her live in anonymity.
And what did you do when you found out you got the role? Did you celebrate or did you freak out?
So,
what was that like?
I mean, at that time it was a guest spot, possible recurring. That's what it was called. Guest spot, possible recurring. So I actually didn't know. I thought it could just be a one-off. And because I was kind of outside of like pop culture at that time, I don't know that I understood like how big of an impact Big Bang already had.
Yeah.
It was already such a fan favorite, but I didn't really I wasn't really dialed into that. We didn't have cell phones to be like checking things and looking at social media about it. I knew that it was a job. And, to be perfectly honest, like as an actor, like you take what's given to you. I think, one of the jobs that I did before Big Bang, like I didn't even have a name. It was like, like chubby girl number 2 or something. Oh. I just was happy to have like a name and identity and also, to be able to come into a show where you're not starting anything, like it's already been started, was really fun. And, I was just excited for that one episode. Like I had no idea. And also it's very intimidating, coming into a show where like everybody knows each other. And like there were a lot of things I didn't know. And especially if you haven't watched the show, you don't know that Raj can't speak to girls unless he has alcohol. Like I didn't know things. I didn't know Sheldon's spot. Like I didn't know all this stuff. So I definitely felt, also like once you have kids and especially young kids, you're like, I'm going to re-enter the world. Like I've never been here before. You feel like an alien, So I was like placed in this situation where I just wanted, to make the director and producers happy. Like that's your job as an actor, no matter what.
What do you remember about meeting Jim for the first time?
He's tall. He's Southern. He's a real gentleman.
Yeah.
Johnny Galecki and I have a history. So like that was also really, that was, kind of a touch point for me.
Yeah.
That like, well, I know Johnny. Yeah. So, but nothing, in particular. I was just nervous to be there. Also, I hadn't been in that kind of like sitcom environment in over a decade, like almost a decade and a half. Yeah. So also just to sit around a table and to like all that excitement and all the like, PAs running around, it's a very exciting environment. And also it's a very pleasant set, meaning like people are friendly and like, there's like, there's a lot to sort of watch, but I really did. I felt like kind of an observer being dropped in.
Okay, so in the scene in the season 3 finale, of course, Raj and Wolowitz decide to set up Sheldon on this dating site, and Amy Farrah Fowler pops up, and they decide to meet at a coffee shop. So let's watch this clip, which you can see the full thing on HBO Max to see Brian Thomas Smith as well, and you can imagine that. So let's watch your very first scene.
Excuse me, I'm Amy Farrah Fowler, your Sheldon Cooper.
Hello, Amy Farrah Fowler. I'm sorry to inform you that you have been taken in by unsupportable mathematics designed to prey on the gullible and the lonely. Additionally, I'm being blackmailed with a hidden dirty sock.
If that was slang, I'm unfamiliar with it. If it was literal, I share your aversion to soiled hosiery. In any case, I'm here because my mother and I have agreed that I will date at least once a year.
Interesting. My mother and I have the same agreement about church.
I don't object to the concept of a deity, but I'm baffled by the notion of one that takes attendance.
Well, then you might want to avoid East Texas.
Noted. Now, before this goes any further, you should know that all forms of physical contact up to and including coitus are off the table.
May I buy you a beverage?
Tepid water, please.
Okay, first of all, we cut that scene before the end, but the two of you walk up to the counter and you put your hands on it the same exact way.
Oh.
Do you, was that originally how it was written, that they would even mimic their own physicalities?
It was not written that way.
No.
Okay.
No, I don't. I mean, there's obviously a lot of things I don't remember, but I don't remember. I remember that probably being something we each organically did. I don't even know that, we would have noticed it that way.
Yeah. No, you'll have to go back and watch it on HBO Max, because it's a little eerie that your mannerisms are the exact same.
It's funny.
And then you see Raj and Wolowitz look at each other like, what did we just do here?
Yeah.
This is crazy. Oh my gosh. Do you remember being on set? Were you down watching this as it first happened? What did you think? Did you see a spark here? Like, okay, we could really be onto something.
So I remember thinking that she is great. It's always really nice to see a character embodied by a human. It's just like they de facto become so much more like grounded and, tangible. I remember the writing of the episode where Penny chaperones your date.
Yes,
to be
401.
Like, that was so fun. I think that maybe going into season 4, it was just like, well, we're continuing where we picked off because we like to leave it on a cliffhanger.
Right.
But writing that episode was so gangbusters fun and easy that I think that's when I sort of felt the potential.
Okay, since you just brought that scene up, I do want to watch a clip from 401. You're not in this scene, Mayim, because we see Amy a little bit later.
Right.
But this is when Penny finds out that there is something called shamey. Let's watch this.
Shamey! I am so digging the shamey.
All right. Everyone pay attention. Yes, I have a friend named Amy Farrah Fowler. Yes, she is female. Yes, we communicate on a daily basis, but no, she is not my girlfriend.
Okay, well, what do you communicate about?
Well, my work in physics, her work in neurobiology, and most recently, the possibility of our having a child together.
The damn robotic hand. That's
great.
So Chuck's like, we can never do that anymore, that kind of episode with the hand, because then it gets stuck on, Howard's, private parts, and he has to end up in the ER. But
right.
Oh my God, it's so the shamey and then the spit take. I can't imagine what that was like putting that together.
Yeah, it was pretty great.
Oh, what do you think watching a scene like that?
Look, we all look so young. Like, that's what,
You still look young.
Well, I know, but it's a snapshot,
Yeah.
In time. It's just, it's wild. But I think also, that notion that right off the bat, we hit season 4, we hit the ground running.
Right.
In terms of what the relationship might be. And, some of that early ambivalence, and also the sort of disproportionate placement of like, maybe we'll have a child together, even though we're not even dating.
Yes.
It's perfect.
It's so, so good. What did you think, by the way, of Amy's clothes when you saw all the different layers and how different the colors were and the patterns? Like, what was your thinking when you saw that?
Well, I think one of the neat things, and I think one of the really iconic things about our show, was the way Mary Quigley, dressed us, right? There was very specific characters and very specific colors, and, the clothing had their own character.
Yeah.
So, I remember being told, that they kind of wanted, sort of an kind of amorphous, existence to Amy, meaning they wanted any potential kind of sexual attraction to not be a prominent conversation, meaning, she got to sort of dress like a nerdy professor, you know? And I think it was really sweet, you know? And I think it was one of the really special things about this relationship, you know, was we really got to see a relationship evolve that was, you know, not about what a lot of people assume is the first look or the first thought or kind of that romantic, intimate, sexual attraction. It was really about two people getting to know each other, which is very sweet.
Yeah. And it's also so great to see. I mean, that's attributed to you guys and the entire writing team that we had never really seen a relationship like Amy, or I should say a friendship even, like Amy and Sheldon on screen. Usually there's this like sexual attraction when they bring on another, you know, character of the opposite sex. And we really got to see two people that were not comfortable in that realm. And I think so many people could relate to that. And that's what was so profound.
I do love seeing how much respect Sheldon has for her intellect right off the bat. Like even in that first scene, like he doesn't give Leonard that sort of intellectual respect. He doesn't give, you know, Howard and Raj that kind of intellectual respect. And it really is there like immediately. He never, ever doesn't take her seriously for her mind, which I think is great.
Yeah. And I also love too how Jim said to me, you know, he never realized until you came on that he loved having like his person there. And he was like, if there was anybody that was like, you know what, we're going to write this character off. He's like, I would have gone and fought for her because I wanted that person for both me as Jim and as Sheldon. And I just thought that was so sweet.
That's very sweet. It's very nice to hear. I mean, I think also, you know,
I just made that up.
No,
I'm kidding.
no, but I think also the beauty of, you know, and this is to the credit of the writers because, you know, we're standing there and saying the words, but, you know, the notion of the number of combinations of personalities, the usefulness of adding me and Melissa, you know, when we were added, it just added to what was already a very diverse and very deep, talented, really, really gifted cast. So to add these, you know, these other characters and get to not only have them be partners, I think was really special. And, you know, that was something I really enjoyed. Obviously, I loved working with Jim, and that was like some of the, you know, for me, like the richest, most, you know, complicated dialogue and timing and things like that. But, you know, to get to have scenes and like be one of the girls, you know, with, you know, the Penny and Bernadette characters, like that was also fantastic. Like it just became so much fun, kind of whatever they wrote for us.
What do you remember the first time about meeting Melissa? Because she told us a great story. So what do you remember first before I?
I mean, I didn't know of her, you know, as an actress.
Oh, but she knew you.
Right. She knew me. I mean, I do remember she wanted to right off the bat get out of the way that she knew me from Blossom. And the way that she tells the story is hilarious because she was afraid if she didn't say something that I wouldn't trust her friendship, because then if she eventually told me, I would think, well, maybe she was just being friends with me because she was waiting to tell me, and like just like all this very Melissa stuff. It was so great.
And because you guys shared a bathroom.
Correct.
That first.
Right. And I think there was a real sense of camaraderie, you know, in terms of like having your person. Like we were both, I mean, she was a little bit ahead of me in terms of she knew more about what was going on.
Right.
She knew about the show. She knew who was dating who and like what had happened in the universe of our set and things like that. But yeah, we were basically kind of in this together and, you know, made regulars really at the same time. And yes, we also shared a bathroom because we were both in these two dressing rooms that had this adjoining bathroom. So yes, we got very intimate with each other just through knowing each other's schedules. And, but yeah, it was really nice to have someone else who also wasn't part of the original, you know, kind of first 3 years of the show.
Yeah.
So yeah.
What was going through your head though? As she's telling you this whole thing and having like this running dialogue in her mind actually play out in real time. What do you say to that?
I mean, look, many people, you know, I was part of their life in a way that I didn't know.
Yes.
So it's nice to be acknowledged, especially by fellow actors, and, you know, there's also a complexity to that. Like, do people think that, like, I know what I'm doing and think that I should tell people, you know, what do they think when they know that I've spent 5 years on a sitcom and, you know, now I'm, you know, X years beyond that. Right. So I think, you know, for me, just really wanting people to understand that I'm, you know, I'm new. Like, we're all new, no matter what we came from. So I didn't say that to Melissa, but hopefully I communicated it telepathically.
By the way, I know you
like, I'm also lost. I don't know what to do.
We're all just trying to like seem like we know what we're doing here. You mentioned that you decided to go back into acting because you needed health insurance through SAG and everything. How soon did that kick in? Did you get it from the first episode of Big Bang, or did it take some time?
So they calculate, basically earnings by like every 6 month whatever marker at that time. I think like SAG wasn't even SAG after then. Like that's how old this was. They hadn't merged yet. So yeah, I mean, basically you're just working towards an accumulation. Okay. And then when I was brought back in season 4, for a guest spot, then you fulfill whatever level and then you get your insurance.
It's like a video game.
Get your moles removed and all the things you got to do.
I know, you always front load them.
Exactly. Like I've got 7 moles that need to be removed. I've been waiting.
You get up on your dentist, you go get new glasses.
Oh, look.
This is amazing. Oh my gosh, that's too funny. So Maria, how soon after you guys wrote that season 3 finale did you know immediately you were going to bring Amy back in that first episode?
I think we had to, because I think it just would have been
to know what
that's how most people keep me around. Like we had to.
Yeah.
It would have been just too weird to not follow up on what was such a momentous thing that Sheldon is even entertaining this idea for a moment, and then it just, kept giving and giving and giving. He went through so many stages of, his stage where he was like, she's not my girlfriend for a long time. And then she is my girlfriend. It was a very slow burn.
It's so true. And
it's like a 9-year burn.
Yeah. I can't wait till we do our season 4 episode with you, because I rewatched all of season 4 to pick out. I had to pick only 3 clips for the best of Amy Farrah Fowler, which is nearly impossible.
And full disclosure,
what?
When you asked me before we recorded this, what are some of your favorite moments? I picked one from season 8. No, I have no idea.
This was the greatest.
No idea when things happened.
I emailed Mayim. I was like, is there anything that you want to talk about from season 4 that stood out? And she writes me back and she's like, I love the moment in the bathroom with Raj.
You're the
when
worst.
She's having the thing. And I'm like, that was the series finale. Okay, that is season 12.
No idea.
It was so funny.
No clue.
I was just, and then when Melissa was scared that she wouldn't remember, I was like, listen, you're going to be fine here, because most people don't
I am
know.
literally low.
We used to in the writers' room play the Big Bang Theory trivia game because they dropped one off for us. Oh, we were bad.
Yes.
We were bad at it.
It's hard.
But in our defense, we have it. It's been so many ways that didn't get on TV.
Yes.
It's very hard to remember which one came last.
Right. No, when I was doing press for the book, when it came out, I was freaking out a bit because I thought, oh God, what if other journalists start asking me trivia questions? And that's not my strong suit at Big Bang. It's actually everything that went on behind the scenes and how it became this big hit, because those trivia things, I know what you guys mean. You forget it. You either do it for an episode, you write it in, and then
I think
it's out of your head.
Kaylee has a famously incredible memory.
Yes.
She has
so
an
annoying.
Unbelievable memory.
Yeah.
But I remember when Jim and I would do the EPK interviews,
yes.
at the end of every season, right? The electronic press kit interviews, and they'd sit us next to each other and they'd be like, what was your favorite moment this season? And we'd look at each other like, what did we do? We know what we have to do after this interview ends. Right. We've got that scene over there. But some people I'm one of them. I don't hold that information. And I don't know. I sort of remember at some point this happened, at some point that happened, but it's all, a beautiful blur.
Yes, exactly. It's perfectly said, which is why you brought up a scene from season 12. And I was like, but you know what though? Now we know what we're going to talk about when we bring you back for season 12. That's what we're going to do. Okay, wait.
I didn't know you were going to share the exact episode. I was just using hyperbole.
But it was so cute though. I think we can cut it out if you want us to. But I think it was adorable because it was such a monumental moment for Amy Farrah Fowler.
Huge.
Scene with Raj.
It's really stuck with me.
Was that before she got her haircut?
It was right, where Amy is feeling a bit like an ugly duckling.
Yes.
And, which we'll get into in season 12, because I know you had thoughts about
exactly.
that.
And I was it's such an important episode. Me and Maria. She's that's true, but not now.
Yeah, we're not there yet. We got about 8 more seasons to go, and then we'll get.
I'm sure plenty of interesting things happen between this episode and that one.
I'm sure.
Oh my God. Well, you mentioned, Maria, the scene where Penny supervises Sheldon and Amy's first date. And that was, we learned a lot of information. and I think Amy even calls Penny a slut. Is that what? I don't know. I don't know which clip exactly we're going to play, but let's watch it and then we'll discuss.
This is very interesting. Cultural perceptions are subjective. Penny, to your mind, are you a slut? No. Let's just all finish our dinners, okay?
This is an interesting topic. How many sexual encounters have you had?
Does volunteering for a scientific experiment in which orgasm was achieved by electronically stimulating the pleasure centers of the brain count?
I should think so.
Then 128.
That was it. That was the joke when we were writing this. We were like, oh, this is forever. This is going to go on forever. We will never run out of jokes for these two.
Oh my gosh.
I mean, thank God. Thank God. I mean, we should send you more than a muffin spread at this point because you guys tapped into something that was just gold. How soon did you know after this, Mayim, that you would be coming back for more episodes?
I think it was a handful of moments into season 4.
Okay.
And I very famously called my manager. I think it was probably after a table reading. And I called her and I said, I think they're done with me. Like, I think this has run its course. And she's like, what are you talking about? I said, look, I think that there's like so much here, but I feel like they're done with me. They're going to move on to something. And she's like, I don't think you're never right. Just, And that, I believe it was that day they called and offered me a full contract. Like, I literally had no idea. So the lesson is not that like anyone was trying to be subtle. It's that I have no idea like how to read the room.
Yeah.
And it wasn't like I felt like it wasn't a strong episode. It wasn't like that.
Yeah.
I just felt like, I don't know where else they're going to take it. And this show is like obviously so awesome. And there's all these things. But I literally thought that I was not going to be called back and they offered me a full contract. It blew my mind. I mean, like I was completely shocked because I was expecting never to go back again.
What do you think when you hear that, Maria?
I'm surprised. Like, are you always wrong? Like, was somebody giving you
only about big things? Only about things like, do you have a job? Does anyone like you enough to make you come back?
Oh, God. I remember actually you telling me that story and I loved it because I was like, I always think about the worst case scenario. And then I tell myself, well, remember when Mayim thought she was like done and then they ended up offering her a contract? Like, think about that. Maybe when you're thinking the worst case thing, it'll be actually the best.
Well, and it could have been also that I hadn't had that kind of life or success or anything,
Right.
This was a thing of my past. Like I was on a completely different path of like not knowing what size clothing you wear, I was in a very different world. So I think also like the possibility that I could want something that might not happen was probably terrifying. So I think it probably was protective of like, okay, what's next? Like, do I have health insurance for this year? What do I do next year?
Right.
But I really had no idea. And it was very, I was thrilled. Like it was a totally, different catapult though of life.
Right.
I had a 2 and a 5-year-old and a Ph.D. that I was recently using. I was still actively teaching neuroscience, even during season 4.
Incredible.
I was still like literally teaching still with a baby strapped to my chest. And then on weeks then I would be called into Big Bang Theory, I would have to postpone classes. So like I was still actively teaching and doing things. And that was like one of the first things I thought is like, what about my students? I got to finish out this semester.
You could have had him come to tape nights and that could have
they were young.
Like, oh gosh.
Yeah.
Wow. So did you actually celebrate when you got the call that they wanted you back since you didn't the first time?
As the kind of actor I am, there's not like a celebration. Yeah. It's just like you got a job.
Right.
Like you got a job and it's security for however long. I mean, I think that's really the thing. And like, I think people also, you look at the cast and you look at our show and, what it did culturally and all these things. But, for me, especially, I was like brought in late, like really just trying to like raise my kids, figure out my life. I was never planning on being on a TV show again. Yeah. It wasn't like I figured you do that once, right. Who would ever think that would happen? So it was very, very surprising. And honestly, like at that stage of life, there's still so much logistics. I was like, how am I going to breastfeed? How am I going to keep all that going? Like there's so many logistics involved. Yeah. And it was like, at the time I was married and like, okay, you're going to be the one at home and I'm going to go to work. I mean, there's so much that goes into your mind that still needed to be be figured out and continued, to get figured out.
Right. How soon, did you guys bond right away? Did you share and talk about things since you had kids too? Was this something, a conversation that went on?
I had kids a little after Mayim, but she was very much like the diente is the wrong word. She was very much a guide. She had a lot of product recommendations. I got a lot of good hand-me-downs.
Yeah.
There was one toy that was like the Pegmen.
Oh yeah.
That are in the spring thing. That was like the toy of the toys.
What is this toy?
It's like a little wooden, like a test tube rack, kind of.
Correct. But I think they were mice. It was a slice of wood. It was like a big wooden thing that looked like a slice of cheese. And there were 4 mice. And it's just like a very hippie.
And they would spring out. And it was an era where if you had a wooden toy, you were such a good parent. And so if your kid was being bad at a restaurant, I would always pull out this wooden toy so I could be like, F you guys, I'm a very good parent. My child has never touched plastic.
Well, and I think there's a real, at least for me, I don't know what it's like on the other side, but for me as an actor, you don't get to kind of cozy up and hang out with the writers. They're always working. Yeah. They're very, very busy making shows. So they're always it's a little bit of the ivory tower, right? They're always over there doing their thing. And we're, kind of on stage, playing ping pong at lunch and, enjoying what is delivered to us, but we're not actively working the way they are towards a month later, a season later. So it's very different. We would see them, kind of descend upon us, for our run-throughs and things like that. But otherwise, these were these are the people to impress, but I do happen to be a lactation educator counselor. So we did talk about breastfeeding things. And also, I just remember, it was rare. It still is rare. It was rare to have women.
Yes.
And that was really important, I think, especially to me, because not that, the Penny character didn't also benefit from having, women,
course,
but a very different kind of character. And so for me, to get to see female writers, it feels good.
Yeah.
It just does.
Yeah.
It feels good. And I felt if things came up, which eventually they did, I had a lady to talk to, and it makes a difference,
Absolutely. And then you guys went on to do Call Me Kat.
Yes.
You were the showrunner of Call Me Kat.
That's right.
So, it's nice to see that bond, that, the respect that carries on even outside of Big Bang.
Yeah.
It had a long time to form. I'm surprised that you say the writers are in the ivory tower, because I feel like the writers, I spent a long part of my career being very awkward around actors. It felt like we almost weren't allowed to talk to
That's
you guys.
interesting.
Or only the people at the top were kind of allowed to
There's
go over
definitely,
there.
I think that's true too. I think that there is sort of a hierarchy in terms of Chuck and Bill, and then Steve. But it's true. The rest of the writers, I like to get to know people. I'm very curious what people's stories are and how they arrive there. But there's not really that kind of socialization. And look, the fact is, when I came on, the characters that already existed, they were already famous actors, they already had this role, right? So for me, I'm just, I love what goes on behind the scenes, and also just getting to know, I know there's always names on a script and you can't always tell, is that really the person? But yeah, it was exciting to be which joke did you write,
I know.
How does that work?
No, it is so fascinating, because I know everybody in the writer's room, they don't often want to take credit for something because it's gang written and everybody's doing it together. But you do love to find out, okay, which one, which joke came from you, because there is something to celebrate when there's some great lines and you want to applaud that.
And also, it was a very, very different time, meaning to have a woman in that place, it's to Maria's credit.
Yeah.
Obviously incredibly well deserved, but also it was this was before me too. It was a very, very different industry. And I knew that whatever this woman had, it took a lot to get there, and that she was probably incredibly, persistent, talented, and had a certain amount of confidence, which I think is true.
It's true. And even Steve Millar
You're also
said to me,
young. Also, she was really...
Oh, I know. When she walked in the first time to do our first
she's
podcast,
young.
I was like, what are you using on your face? Because your skin is glowing.
No, but to see a writer, a young woman, that's really what it was like. It was this, whatever happened to get here,
Right.
that's incredibly admirable.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And, Steve Milaro said too that when I was talking to him about who to interview for the book, he praised you so much. And he said, like, you have to talk to Maria. And it's not just because she was one of the few women that became, part of our essential writing staff. It's because what you contributed to the show allowed it to go on for 12 years and be the success that it was.
Oh, I love it. That's all I want is for people to say nice things about me.
We all do. It's the best. Okay, now we're going to play a game that Sheldon and Amy actually played on the show.
Okay.
So I'm going to set up an alternate reality and I'll ask you guys a question based on it.
Okay.
Okay, don't worry. It took me time to understand. I was like, what is this game? Okay. So if the world is ruled by beavers, what food never exists?
The club sandwich. Because
Wow.
the club sandwich never exists because wood is a building material and is not available for culinary purposes. So we have no wooden spatulas or spoons, and certainly we do not waste it in our sandwiches.
This is why she's Emmy nominated and and brilliant. The look on your face right now.
Nothing with the word bark in it. No candy bark. No Halloween bark.
Oh my God, you guys are killing me. Okay.
Is there a right answer or no?
No,
Oh,
there
okay.
No, there is. There's one right answer, and you didn't get it.
For this game, there is, and it's Maria's. Okay. If humans hibernate 3 months a year, what industry collapses?
Hold on. Are we hibernating in winter like other animals that hibernate?
They didn't.
It was not specified. Okay.
Here.
Say it again.
If humans hibernate for 3 months a year, let's say, what industry collapses?
I was going to say I would hibernate during the summer, so bathing suits. No one needs to wear them. But I think my answer would be social media, because it needs like input every day.
I think that's good. I was going to say the healthcare industry.
Oh, interesting, because we would all be so well rested.
That's right. That's exactly right.
I
Maria's
feel like-
always right.
I feel like we
Maria's
would
gonna
have
say
like
the club
nap
sandwich.
camps. I feel like people would find a way to post social media. Like
right.
they would be like, "This is how I
be
hibernate.
pre-scheduled.
This is my den."
That's true.
I,
It would be a whole new. Okay,
yeah.
you're right. I don't like my answer
there would
anymore.
be a whole.
Oh my God. Okay. If Penny became a scientist and Sheldon became an actor, who is more successful?
Penny, because she's very beautiful.
Oh my God.
I'm stealing Maria's answer for that.
Oh God, that's so good. Okay. Oh my.
This is hard.
That's a good one, though.
Oh my God. Okay. If Raj can talk to women from the very beginning, which friendship changes the most?
Penny? Because she's very beautiful.
I mean, that's not wrong. That's not wrong.
Oh my God. I can't. Okay. Let me see here. Okay. One more.
Okay.
All right. If Sheldon decides to quit physics and open a restaurant, what item becomes the most complicated thing on the menu?
See, this is what I feel like at work all the time.
I was trying to make
This is the
thing like you haven't. You guys, there's nothing wrong
I'm
with.
like, is it molecular?
so much
I'm gonna
pressure.
guess. I'm gonna guess everything because it's molecular gastronomy.
Yes, I love it, and because Penny is beautiful.
And the club sandwich.
And the club sandwich. Oh God, I love you guys so much.
Thank you.
And I can't wait to go down memory lane for season 4.
I can't wait for season 12.
Season
I got my answer already.
I can't believe you remember that because that was my story. Did I tell you that?
See?
That was my, because I had to have a headshot
Yes.
for something. And I couldn't, because like for some writing thing, and I couldn't get a picture of my face, and I had this breakdown at work.
Oh, that's funny. Well, we'll have to stay tuned for that.
Oh my God. I can't wait to do a deep dive into this one. Now I know the whole theme of the season. Who cares that Sheldon and Amy won the Nobel? Forget it. This is what we're going to focus on.
Is there a good picture of Maria? Spoiler alert, no.
There are.
Oh God, I love it. Stay tuned for season 12, you guys. 8 seasons down the road. We're going to get there. We're going to get there. You guys are the best.
Thank you
so much.
Thank you.
That's it for today's episode of the official Big Bang Theory podcast. Thank you so much for joining us. And don't forget, you can watch on HBO Max or listen wherever you get your podcasts. And every episode of the Big Bang Theory is streaming on HBO Max. I will see you guys next time.